come down to the parabolica. Mansell going for third position. And if PK wins here in Italy, he would have had 3 wins and 6 second places. And now, is Mansell going to take that third place from Berger?
Well, I can tell you one thing. Berger is not going to make it easy for him. Mansell probably with a flick of the boost switch to get a little bit more boost. Powers past Berger on the start-finish straight, and so Nigel Mansell moves up into third place, and that'll be very important for him. Really needs a win there.
Now Mansell is in an ideal position to pass, and he's going for it, and he's through. Nigel Mansell moves up into second place behind his teammate Nelson Piquet by passing Thierry Boutsen, who has got Gerhard Berger now right behind him. And it's clear to me that the Benetton Ford is tiring, because Berger has made up a lot of space, and I don't think it's going to be all that long before the Ferrari is up into third position, because there is Boutsen. Now the 3.5 litre category on lap 21 is being led by Philippe Alliot, who is 15th overall. In second position in the 3.5 litre category is Philippe Streff, who is 17th behind Nakajima, overall that is. And third position in the category is Ivan Capelli, and Jonathan Palmer, who started fastest on the grid in the 3.5 litre class, is currently in fourth place in the class of 19th overall. And now this is lap 21, and Piquet has completed the 21st lap. He's on to his 22nd. Now Mansell, we missed Mansell. There he is, into the pits. Apologies for that. Mansell slid into the pits unobserved, and the race order on lap 22 then is Nelson Piquet leading Thierry Boutsen by 9.6 seconds. Gerhard Berger is in third position. Ayrton Senna is in fourth place, and Nigel Mansell, having made a tyre change, observe that, tyres, Nigel Mansell on lap 22 then, so we can expect him to go the rest of the race on the set of tyres that he's using, is in fifth position, ahead of Stefan Johansson, who is in sixth place. Not very far off half distance as you look at Boutsen, Senna and Berger in second, third and fourth places. And significant there is the fact that Ayrton Senna is challenging as you look at the two Ligiers, over which there has been so much wrangling in the practice session over their Megatron engines. And Senna now is up, and he is ahead of Boutsen. So on lap 23 out of 50, approaching half distance, the brilliant Brazilian double Grand Prix winner in 1987, Ayrton Senna, has clawed his way through the field. He's got ahead of Mansell, of course, who is now down in fifth position by virtue of his tyre stop. He got ahead of Berger, he got ahead of Boutsen, and he's now pulling away from Boutsen and Berger. He's in second position as you look at the leader. Now look down the course for the yellow car. That was the Zaxby. There is Ginzani in the Ligier, followed by Arnoux in the Ligier. There is second place man Ayrton Senna on his 23rd lap, followed by fourth man Boutsen. The Scarlet Ferrari of Berger is fifth. And I will give you the gap between Nelson Piquet, race leader on lap 24, and the second place car of Ayrton Senna in his 12.1 seconds.
And Boutsen and Berger went for the pits then. So Senna now on his own, and Boutsen, and they get away absolutely in line of third. And a tremendous fight out of the pits to get to that first chicane. And there we are, that's the result, won by Boutsen, but they're sliding around a lot on the cold tyres. And Boutsen nearly made a mess of that. So they raced into the pits and they continued to race out of them.
And thanks to that masterly departure, Thierry Boutsen is now in fourth position, with Berger fighting very hard indeed. As James has pointed out, although their cars have been preheated, they will still not quite be at racing temperature. So Boutsen made it. And Nigel Mansell has just broken the lap record.
Yes, a 1:27.4, which has really smashed it, and that's really over a second faster than anyone else. And Nelson Piquet is now in the pits. There is Nelson Piquet making his stop, which looked a bit of a slow one. And that won't please the Brazilians one little bit. So he will have lost time on the road to Mansell, courtesy of that. And in fact, now they are together. So the battle of the Williams is really joined, because Piquet, all his lead over Mansell was lost in the pits. And remember, Mansell has the warmed-up tires on. So Mansell will be very anxious to pass him now, while he's got the tyre advantage before Piquet gets his new one warmed up.
And this is the half distance, lap 25. Ayrton Senna leads in second position. There he is, Nelson Piquet. In third position, just behind him, is Nigel Mansell. Both of them have changed their tyres. And now we're seeing a battle royal between the two arch rivals in the Williams team, with Piquet defending his position, moving across to the right, knowing that it is Nigel Mansell, the man who he would most like to meet in the Italian Grand Prix, who is there behind him. And look at that, that was Mansell off the course there, over the turn, in his effort to get out of the Ascari bend, right on the tail of Piquet.
Yeah, so this is the opportunity that Mansell will be looking for, with two slower cars in front, a bit of traffic.
And you're looking at yet another scrap, the scrap between Boutsen for fourth and Berger. Senna leading 12.5 seconds, and Senna is really extending the life of his tyres as Piquet goes through and passes Christian Danner in the Zach speed, who immediately tucks in behind the Brazilian, much, I'm sure, to the irritation of Nigel Mansell, who wanted a quick run out of the Ascari bend. He will have to get past Christian Danner, and he did so. That is Eddie Cheever out of the Italian Grand Prix. And Martin Brundle, going better than he has gone in a Grand Prix for a long time, is up into 8th position and will conceivably finish in the points for the second time this season. He was in 5th place at San Marino, but now on lap 32 out of 50, Ayrton Senna still leads, but by a diminishing margin, which indicates to me that his tyres are going off, because Nelson Piquet is cutting into the advantage that Senna has. It's now down to 5.5 seconds. You saw Ayrton Senna, you saw a flash behind him of Piquet, but look at this, because Berger is ahead of Boutsen, and you saw it happen, and that means to say that the Ferrari with the Austrian at the wheel is now up into 4th place. A marvellous fight for that position between the Ferrari and the Benetton. And meantime, Senna continues to astound me with the way he is keeping his tyres intact.
I'm quite sure now that Senna is not intending to stop the tyres, and by looking after them so carefully in the early part of the race, at the moment he seems to have done himself a very clever trick and out-fumbled the others, because he's maintaining his lead. He's 6.5 seconds ahead of Piquet still, and appears to be able to pretty much match Piquet for speed.
And there you see the pit with Alain Prost, who is totally out of this race, and therefore I think totally out of the World Championship. He rejoins the race, but Alain Prost is not going to finish in the points in the Italian Grand Prix. And that destroys any chances or hopes he may have had of being world champion for the 3rd year. And Mansell is dropping back now.
Yes, and Mansell's engine sounded a little bit rough to me as he went past, and that would be consistent with the fact that he's dropping back quite sharply.
It is beginning to look more and more as though the 1987 World Championship is going to be between the two Brazilians, Nelson Piquet and Ayrton Senna. And Senna, if he wins here, will close the gap between himself and Nelson Piquet by 3 points, and every point is going to help as the season draws towards its conclusion.
And that's a new new lap record for Nelson Piquet.
Well, Piquet has taken 1 second out of Senna's lead as out of the Minardi gets Adrian Campos to retire yet again. The little Spaniard has failed to finish in any of the 11 Grand Prix of this year.
Well, Mansell now over 20 seconds behind Nelson Piquet and starting to fall back towards Gerhard Berger. At the moment, Berger is some 9 seconds behind Mansell. Certainly